I'd like to welcome you to this update for First United Methodist Church in Madison, Wisconsin regarding our plans moving forward in the COVID pandemic. My name is Mark Fowler. I'm the lead pastor here, and I simply want to celebrate in the midst of the chaos that this pandemic has wrought in our culture and the world, that our church has been open the entire time. Our building was rapidly closed for the purposes of safety and to protect all people who look to our church as a center of worship, of fellowship, of mission, of advocacy. We moved rapidly online, and I want to thank all of those who made that possible. We asked ourselves what was essential to our church to continue to carry on what we do as a congregation, to follow after the manner of Jesus in this world. We decided to be online 7 days a week with devotionals and inspiration, stories for our children, worship, and music. And we are grateful that so many have joined us. 2 adult education classes went online and they held Zoom meetings. Our young adults held Zoom meetings. Our youth held Zoom meetings. We did all that we could in order to maintain and, in fact, grow our ministry together and our fellowship together, our worship and our learning together. We also had to move one of our foundational, missional Hope's Home ministries into a radically different mode. The church building used to be the center of that. We had to close inviting people into that building in order to render good mission and fellowship and care and food to them. But we followed where the need was. We reached beyond the building, and the building became a staging area. In many ways, it looks like a warehouse for food. But what better use could that church building be than to gather in food and then distribute it to those most in need in partnership with many more? Our church building used to be a shelter in partnership with Porchlight and with Grace Episcopal and St. John's Lutheran Church. Together, the churches with Porchlight aided in moving shelters to Warner Park and to motels and hotels in Madison in order to be present with people in a more caring way as they would be socially distanced and cared for more immediately because of their vulnerability and the sickness that would come upon them. We moved rapidly in order for the church to be the church and to continue to be the church in vibrant ways. The culture, the politicians, those who own businesses, reasonably wish to open the economy, to return to a new normal. And the church is in the same place. But we are not like other businesses. We are a fellowship that gathers in community. We seek to be together, to greet each other, to sing together, to grow together when we come into a common space. And so, as we look toward the summer, we must think very carefully and pray very carefully about the way we open this space. I am grateful for our own COVID task force, a talented and committed group of people who are seeking the data that is necessary for us to make decisions that are the best and healthiest for our congregation and for the ministry and mission of our church. I'm grateful to the Church Council and to other committees who seek to be cautious optimistic, and to continue to grow the ministry of our church. We have chosen 2 tracks. One is to expand as much as possible and those ways in which our congregation is supported online, in its worship, its fellowship, its education, and its advocacy. The staff, volunteers, and other persons are now working on plans to do that over the summer. We are reaching out to those who are not online, and I want to thank our pastoral staff and volunteers for caring for those who do not have access to our online ministries. We are seeking to partner with many other groups in the city to expand our ministry of outreach and mission through Hope's Home, and we will be seeking more of our congregation to volunteer in those ways. But at the same time, we are seeking safe ways in which to reopen. To practice social distancing, we will be asked to wear masks, we will be asked to wash our hands, and to use other sanitizers throughout the church building. We are working with the other churches on the square and another group of churches in the city of Madison, as well as our colleague United Methodist churches, that we all together seek ways to open in a healthy way. By June 15th, we will begin to open the church for small groups of staff who work together and whose work in the church building is accentuated and made more efficient when they are in the building. But we will still ask others, as far as possible, to work from home and to work online. By the end of June, we will begin to open the church for small groups of people to come to meet together, or to pray together, or to speak together. But we will be in the larger rooms of the church so we might practice social distancing. The Church Council has asked that a rigorous plan be put into place by the middle of July for opening, possibly by the end of July. But at least the plan will be in place. That plan will be the result of taking a poll and speaking to many people in the congregation. We have felt no urgency from most of our membership to open up that building for the purpose of worship. There is, in fact, more caution that we be safe, and that is an expression of our love for one another in Jesus. And I agree. I do not want us to experiment with each other's health. We seek to not only be medically sure, but also confident in what we are doing. And so a rigorous plan at this moment is being prepared. It will be reviewed by our COVID task force, by our church council, and by a number of other committees. One of our colleague churches spoke most poignantly about the grief that their congregation has expressed when they learned all of the rigors that needed to be put into place before they could come and worship together. A much reduced size in the sanctuary for worship. The possibility of not being able to sing for some time. Wearing masks while we were worshiping together. Not having fellowship time for some months to come. And recognizing that what came over them was a great deal of grief. That when they were looking forward to gathering together, it wasn't as they had remembered or imagined. We want to care for one another as we re-enter together, that it will not be the same. And so we are in this very difficult place. Although it was very difficult to close, we built a separate space very rapidly. Opening seems far more difficult to me now. But we will meet this challenge. Founded in the grace that God has given to us, in the hospitality that we render to one another, in reaching out to one another in all the ways that are safely within our capacity. And then, as it is safe, as it makes sense to our ministry together, as it is possible, we will slowly and carefully welcome one another home. God bless you. I yearn to see each and every one, even those we have not met yet, in the great and expanding and blessed ministry to which we have been called at First United Methodist Church. Amen.